And Mike Bushman, the head wrestling coach at Culver, joins us in this segment of the Coaches Show this morning. Wanted to get you in. Normally, I try to get guys in earlier in the season and then check in with them late. We're through with the girls' part, but you're getting into the meat of the boys' schedule. Talk about your girls' program a little bit here to start with. How has it been going there?
They're actually coached by Tristan Rodriguez. We had Madison Beach and Michaela Beach both qualify to regional, and Madison actually was in the round before making it down to state. She had a really, really good season. They had a couple conference champs as well. I believe Michaela was a conference champ. I know Madison was a conference champ too. They, for the good part of the season, filled probably 7 weight classes, I think. I know at our home duel, they had 6 filled. Somebody was injured that night, I think. But yeah, they've really done a good job. Tristan's done a great job of growing the numbers over there and getting the girls interested and getting the buy-in. I know over breaks and stuff, having girls show up. They had a lot of girls in the off season. We have a bigger and a smaller wrestling room. We kind of trade off who's in it, that sort of stuff. And I know in the off season a lot, when we were in there, they were in there right next door doing work as well, or they were packing up as we were heading in, or vice versa, because that sort of stuff. So I'm really, really pleased with how he's grown interest, and we're excited about where that's going in the future.
Yeah, it sounds like you and Triton both have things going pretty good. I think Matt over there was able to fill all their weight classes for most of the year. That's kind of cool to see it growing like that.
Oh yeah, and in addition to the filling the weight classes and that sort of stuff, it's neat to see the excitement. It's neat to see the ladies coming in outside the season, asking for. I can kind of hear them out there talking about staying after, that sort of stuff. That's what's really exciting is people investing in the sport, because at the end of the day, that's what my goal is as many kids as possible getting an opportunity in the sport, because I believe in it. I know the lessons it can teach, and the more students, the more families that get a chance to access that, the better it is, I think, for everybody.
Seems to me like that also offers an opportunity to girls that may not have been. It's a different skill set. I mean, it's a more like a football skill set. A lot of girls don't get to use those skills athletically because there's really no sport that transfers to that, and this would give them a good opportunity for that.
Oh, sure, and I think it's good in the overall too, because it opens up new avenues of athleticism, and not only those mindset of the physical and aggressive, but there's a lot of I think once girls start doing it, they realize there's a lot of finesse stuff you can do in wrestling too. There's a lot of things that translate over from stuff like gymnastics, dance, that sort of stuff. Just understanding how your body moves and works. And I think girls realize, some of the girls who might have thought, I'm not the kind of girl who would have gone out for the football team, are finding themselves, well, wait a minute, I have these other skills that aren't necessarily bruiser skills, but I understand, again, I've done tumbling, I've done whatever, that I have an idea of, just little things like, using gymnastics as an example. When you've fallen off, the beam or whatever, I know how to fall in a certain way. I know how my body's going to do.
Yeah.
That gives you advantages in a wrestling match that I think they're starting to realize. Hey, this is it attracts a wide variety, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and it's neat to see.
Yeah, and the quickness too. I mean that is absolutely invaluable. No matter what you're doing, I guess. Let's talk about your boys a little bit. I mean, how do you feel about where they're at this point? You're about what, the halfway point?
I'm going to say we're at about the 3/4 point from us getting to the postseason.
Yeah.
Depending on how deep a run we make, we're roughly at the halfway point. I to be honest, I don't know that I've ever been more excited about our program overall. We had a really exciting energy around our intramural season. Numbers were honestly a little down for our kindergarten through 3rd graders, but the energy from the kids and from the parents was more than I've had in a long time. We've got more 4th, 5th grade wrestlers than we've had, including, as we talked about before, probably 4 or 5 girls. We've only had one day in there, and I didn't get a chance to poke my head in there a ton and see how they were doing. But that energy, again, felt good. Kids coming out of there breathing heavy, sweat running down their face. They're in there working. And our varsity team is bigger numbers than we've ever had. I think we put 5 on the mat at sectional last year, and we were poised to put 10 on the mat, again, barring injury or anything like that this year, with a couple of guys even who are overlapping weight classes and can't get out there. We have 12 on the team this year, which is more than we've had in I don't remember how long, probably 5 or 6 years. And that one year was kind of a blip on the radar, just a team with a bunch of guys who were like, I'm going to go try it this year. And then most of them didn't come back the next year. But these are kids who have been through our middle school program. Many of them have been through our youth program. I think we're going to hold these numbers, and it's exciting. And the freshman class has done a really good job of not only boosting our numbers themselves, but when you get an influx of freshmen, some of these sophomores and juniors who were thinking about trying out the sport but don't want to wrestle guys who are, we have guys who are returning conference champions. We have somebody who's going to be going for potentially his 30th win tonight. Like when you're exploring the sport, that's not the kind of guy you want to go out there and roll with every single day. And so I think some of those, we picked up a couple upperclassmen who have had success now and now are comfortable rolling with those guys. But they kind of got their feet wet thinking, okay, I can go out there. There's some freshmen trying it out. I can try it out too. I don't have to get my head beat in every day. I can pick my spots when I want to have that kind of noise.
And once again, it seems to me this is another place where you get some guys with different kinds of athletic skill sets. I mean, not everybody was born with a God-given talent to shoot a basketball or to hit a baseball, but everybody can run and be fit. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, you don't need.
Oh.
I think this and football are the two places where they're more the American sports than any, because we have this ethos of with hard work and determination, you can be a success. Well, football and wrestling, that is true. You don't have to have God-given talent. If you do the work, you're going to get the reward.
Well, and you saying that wide variety of athleticism, I think we are about as emblematic of that as you could be. If you looked at our roster and the different sizes and shapes we have, the two guys with the best records on our team, as a matter of fact, if you were to come to our meet and look at them side by side, it's remarkable how different they look, how different they wrestle. Because we have a 175 pounder who's about 5'8" and weighs about $172. He deadlifts 600 pounds. He is a monster, just a powerhouse. And then we have a 144 pounder who's long and lean and again, probably 3 or 4 inches taller than our 175 pounder, but 30 pounds lighter, and just as a technician who can just grind it out and go. And it's just, we always say if we could fuse those two together, we'd have an unstoppable force on our hands, because they dish yin and yang off each other. But you're right. It's about wrestling allows you to find what can I do, and then lean into that. I think more so than any other sport. And that's the neat thing about it is, and that's what's been fun watching these freshmen is discover what is it that I can offer, what is it that I can do out here, and then I can focus on those things and then build out from there. It's been a really neat thing to watch them develop in that way.
I had a son that wrestled, and the thing he told me about that helped him in other sports was that, to him it was all about leverage and all about angles. And there were so many different things in other sports that are about that, leverage and angles, and how you go about that.
Even something simple like, again, to use our 144 pounder versus our 175 pounder as an example, he was, the 44 pounder was saying, I wish I was real strong, Theron, our 175 pounder saying he's so strong, it'd make things so much easier. I was like, but you've got the long arms. There's things that you like, that we were doing a drill the other day where Theron, I told him reach across and grab the cross elbow. His arms just weren't long enough to get there. Things as strong as he is, the hand just couldn't reach. And that plays it. Even things, that don't seem connected at all. Throwing a baseball, those long arms, that, like, talk about that leverage, that there's just a snap you can get with arm length that you can't get with the short arms. But on the other hand, the shorter limbs, that you pack a lot more power into less weight when your arms and legs aren't as long. So it's about finding what your body can do and what it physically has, with the tools it has available, and leveraging and leaning into those.
Let's talk about your guys a little bit. You already talked about, your 145, your 175. Put some names with them. Tell us how they're doing this year.
The 144, 175. 144 is Cale Bushman. He's 29-3. He's sophomore returning. Sophomore returning conference champion. He's had a really good season. Picked up a win over a ranked wrestler earlier. Again, I'm really pleased with how he's developed and what he's done in the offseason. Our 175 pounders, Theron Carrington, he's a senior. Again, an absolute force of nature. I believe he's 23-2. again, he was also a finalist at the McKee Invitational, along with Kale a couple weeks ago in Rochester. Just a physical specimen. He's as explosive an athlete as I've ever coached. I would love to have him and a former state champion of ours like side by side in the weight room just to see. But I don't know that you'll find many kids stronger than him in the nation, let alone 175 pounders in Indiana. I mean, if he gets his hands on you, it's real tough to do anything about it. We've also been super pleased with our freshman class this year, and our and really. Cohen Markley's come on really well this year. He kind of a rough sophomore year. It ended well for him. He won a conference title and made it to regional, but he just kind of had a hard time getting going. Once he did, it was good, but he's really rocketed out. He's like 22-5 this year. Isaiah Vela was away from the sport for a while, came back. He's something like 18-11. He's a senior who took a couple years away, but kind of came to me and said, "Coach, I think I want to try again." I said, "Well, come on back out, brother. We'd love to have you." And he's done a really good job also of kind of anchoring our upper weights, because that's where a lot of our freshmen is in the upper weights. And having Isaiah around has been great because he has a very good maturity about him in terms of understanding how to press those guys and make them better, but also not just wallop them every day because he's the elder statesman. And it's been nice to have him around as well. And really, Theron does a good job of that too. As strong as he is, that's one way I'm super proud of Theron for developing this year, is understanding how to have a younger wrestler with him and still get something productive out of the session. And we've worked a lot on sparring and things like that. And Theron's done a really good job of taking to that and helping our younger wrestlers develop in that way. Again, just there's time to let the younger wrestlers know, okay, I'm still the boss here, but most of the time we're looking just for everybody to improve over the course of the practice. So it's been nice to see from that perspective.
I saw Theron play football, man. He's got a motor.
Yeah. Well,
he gets after it.
He gets after it, and he's just absolutely a sweetheart. Like it's funny because if you could do nothing but watch him compete, you'd have no clue the kind of personality the kid has, because he is in terms of on the inside, he is the softest, sweetest, huggingest young man. He's an absolute delight to be around. And so, and this is one thing too, it's true for all of our guys. They're so excited for everybody's success. Like I said, I talked about the ranked win. We were watching the film back. There's when Kale won that match against a ranked clash. So there's guys in the sideline grabbing, not just cheering, but like genuine, like almost like watching siblings or parents. Well, one of them was a sibling, but watching siblings or parents watching, where just the tense, they're riding on everybody's wins and losses. It's a really fun group to be around.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you got a busy night tonight. We're recording this on Thursday, and you're excited just to be wrestling tonight, I'm sure.
Oh, no, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we talked about. We have a freshman who's getting his first. He broke his thumb in football, and he's been cleared for a couple weeks, but just one thing led to another. He had another competition through FFA. He ended up having to miss a meet. So this is his first time out there. So I was really, and he's one who went with us and did a ton of the offseason stuff. And so we're excited for him to get on the mat and get a little bit of the dust knocked off, because conference tournament is this Saturday. So we really are glad that that's not the first time he's stepping on the mat in a singlet is conference. We'd like it to be a few more, but again, that in particular gets us really happy to have this meet tonight. And Lewis Cass is a quality program that's going to bring competition at every weight class, and I think that's going to be nice too for our guys who are gunning for conference titles this week to get some real action out there. Really get a good hard competitive match to get us geared up going to the conference.
Well, Ben, I hope you don't mind if we get back in touch with you later in the year, maybe a little closer to the tournament, and you can update us on how you guys are doing.
No, I'd love that. We really appreciate you helping the secondary sports and wrestling in particular get the names out there and get the publicity going.
Man, I just appreciate you taking the time. I know it's hard to work fat old radio guys into your schedule sometimes, but I appreciate you guys doing it. It's nice of you to do.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to do it.
Mike Bushman, the head wrestling coach at Culver, and we'll be right back. Well, Haustrauser, the athletic, I almost called you the head football coach. I don't know.
Kind of sticks with
Maybe
me.
the old ball coach,
There you go.
athletic director at LaVille High School, joins me. We're going to talk basketball. Bi-county tournament coming up, and I'm sure that well, you guys probably will start planning 2027. Maybe what, March?
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
probably been in high planning stage for this for a while, and I'm sure you're busy.
Yeah, this is one of those tournaments that it just never quite goes away, and rightfully so, with all the different communities involved, and the folks at Everwise, Randy Lemmert and Beth Stiers, primarily are my contacts, and they're so supportive, regardless of the situation. They're always looking to reach out to each and every one of our communities in a positive way and support this tournament for boys and girls basketball. And it just makes it special, that's for sure.
There have been a lot of changes in the people. I can remember a time I believe CMA was involved, and all kinds of other Oregon Davis, I believe, they're still involved. But I mean, there have been changes of the faces, but I mean, this has been this kind of a tournament. Well, I just saw you're honoring the 50-year winner from Culver this year, so
Yeah.
it's been around a while.
Yeah, it's something, and that makes it real special too. Each year we're honoring the 50th anniversary. We started with the LaVille squad 3 years ago, and last year we honored the one from John Glenn, and then this year it comes back to Culver. And I believe next year, I'm pretty sure it's the next edition of the tournament will start. We get to the 50th anniversary of the girls. So it'll be kind of neat to put them in the mix as well. So just the deep, rich history of the tournament. I can remember, I've been through it as a student watching, student on a team, but I still watched, and then myself as a athletic director at John Glenn, at Oregon Davis, and now at LaVille, and so I've approached it from three different schools, and been running this thing now. I think this will be my 15th one. So it's just such a special time, and it's really neat. You see different faces and all the different people that have participated in it over the years, or coached in it, and or just had some role. And it's just a special week for sure.
I'm going to ask you to talk about this a little bit, because to me this is a throwback. I mean, even though everything's modern and the game's different than it used to be, and the uniforms clearly are different, this is old time feel to this tournament, even now.
Yeah, it does have a special ring to it, and I know back when I was growing up, getting a ticket to this tournament across the week sometimes was hard to do.
Yeah.
Gym would sell out each night, and it's been reformatted a couple different times, just for logistics for all the participating teams, and given some teams the opportunity to host early in the tournament, I think was a really good move, both for attendance, but also for our kids at LaVille. A lot of people didn't realize back in the day when LaVille hosted everything, the teams had a hard time practicing during the week, because the gym was always filled up with games and those sorts of things. So, it's something, watching all the teams prepare and just kind of jockey and do things. So it's pretty cool.
And you've kept the small town feel to it. I mean, it's almost like I don't know, if you were setting a modern version of Hoosiers, this would be what it would feel like. I mean, all the small communities that are involved in this thing, that real old time. You remember, like sectional time, you weren't guaranteed a ticket. You had to wait outside and hope somebody was selling theirs from the previous session. I mean, it has that old Hoosier basketball feel.
Yeah, the only thing missing, Rusty, are the Chuck Taylors. You know what I mean? He just he gets these old the Chuck Taylors and the high cut shorts. How about that? But it is. You're right. It does have the small communities that are involved, and they all come out and support. And that's one of the neatest things. And being able, we have 2 nights in a row on Thursday night and Friday night where we have 8 girls varsity teams in our building or 8 boys varsity teams, and with that comes a great crowd. So, and then the championships are always well attended. And the gym gets as close to capacity. We talk about it every year. I don't want to advertise it out, but I sure hope the fire marshal doesn't take a trip in. You know what I mean? So sometimes we gotta mind our P's and Q's with those things too. But we do have a plan in place. If we get to that point where we'll have to shut the doors or move people to our cafeteria, and we've got 2 large screens where people can actually sit and watch too. So they can still be part of the action. We're always trying to think a step ahead in hosting to accommodate. I know on the busy nights, we park people over in the elementary and we run shuttle buses, so they don't have to walk all the way over. And just little things like that across the years as the attendance is, it's always been good. But there's just the support for the teams. And this year's field is so balanced. Who knows? You can flip a coin pretty much from round 1 all the way to the end. So it'll be an interesting tournament for sure.
If anybody wondered about whether you had a blind draw or not, too, that becomes really clear with the way it drew out this year. I'm sure you've seen social media. Well, why don't they seed that? Why don't you've got one bracket of this that has. I wouldn't miss a game in that. Every one of those is just a blockbuster.
Yeah, it's something. We've changed we've changed the format of the draw a little bit every year, just kind of throw different twists and turns. And now actually what we do, just so everybody knows and it's crystal clear, we do a double blind draw. That's what we do. Everybody comes in, the athletic directors draw a card. And it'll be 1 to 7. LaVille's automatically placed where they're placed as the host school.
Right.
So that's the only one that sticks. And then the number that the athletic director gets, they come up and they pick another card that picks the spot on the bracket, and then they blind draw an envelope with the team in it. And that's how it's done. It's filled in that way. So there's no way you can get around any setup or anything like that. And yeah, I've heard the things about seeding, and everybody's got their opinion, and that's kind of the neat thing about this. This tournament's important. It means something when you win it. A lot of times I've heard numerous people say it's harder to win this tournament than it is their sectional. So
yeah,
it's a neat thing. The girls get a great tournament a couple weeks before their sectional, so they can prepare, and it's formatted kind of the same way, where you got to win 3 games if you don't draw the bye in your sectional. So, and same thing with the boys. It's just about a month ahead of it. So, and then there's a good old Mother Nature. She's giving us a dose here. It seems like it could be sunny and 80 until this week, and then all of a sudden we'll get twists and turns. So I will tell you, there was one year, a couple years back, where we had to cancel, and I was on contingency plan number 8.
Wow.
So we have just about every scenario put together, but once it gets to a certain point, you just can't do it. So that was the only time, though, that I can remember in the tournament's history that has happened. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for this year.
In those cases, you got to be reasonable, though, too. I mean, the tournament means a lot, and you don't have anybody in it that's ever going to not want that trophy. But
yeah,
they still have a whole rest of the season to play, and you don't want to risk somebody getting hurt, having to play 3 games in a day or something like that. I mean, that just becomes unreasonable.
Yeah, exactly. And every team in this has agreed. Championship Saturday can get bumped, and it has gotten bumped to the following Monday if we need to do that. We would never ask a team to play 3 times in a day. We'd only play 2, and then the championships would be moved to Monday night. so everybody's schedule's clear if we need to use that. But once you start getting beyond that, you get cornered and it's just not going to work. So, but hey, we've got a lot of different scenarios that we can throw at it, and we've got an answer for it. So we'll make sure that they line up at least for the start of the tournament.
Knowing your coaches, though, on the girls and the boys side, I don't think anybody back off 3 games a day. They don't. Yeah, bring it on. We'll take it.
That's right. They are very competitive. That's for sure. It's so neat. When we do the draw meeting, we hosted it at LaVille, and our culinary arts program, led by Jill McNeil, cooks for all the administrators and the head coaches. And just the camaraderie between the coaches is something, there's no bad blood or anything like that. They just really enjoy competing. It's kind of neat. I wish maybe I should do that moving forward, but film their faces when they're, when they get their opponents, because sometimes it's like, the poker face, and then other times it's kind of like, oh my goodness, that's not a good one. So,
I could imagine Michael Edison's face this year when Triton ended up as his first opponent. I doubt he had a poker face.
Yeah, no, I think he said something. Is there things stuck to ours? Because I think we've drawn them a couple times. I don't know. I lose track of the years. I've done it so many years, but it does always seem, and that's the neat thing. That's a great rivalry game. For us anyway, during the regular season, it doesn't matter how good they are, how bad we are, or vice versa. It's always a tight game, and Jason does a great job over at Triton, coaching, and it's just so competitive. And it's the neat thing is, we play them earlier in the season and in the regular season, but a lot of times whatever happens in that game is in the past, and you got the game right in front of you. And if you won the earlier game, it almost puts a little more pressure on you. So that's kind of a interesting twist of things too.
I remember that last year too, because we had both those games on our station, and they were both classics, the regular season, and then again in the bi-county. But that's the same thing this year. That earlier game was an absolute classic again, and now they're going to match up in round 1. That ought to be a great game.
Yeah, Tuesday night. Looking forward to it, and that's a great opener for us. I look for a really good crowd and just a really electric atmosphere. Great way to kick the tournament off and get things heading into Thursday for the girls' semifinals and consolations. So,
on your girls' side, you got a lot of interesting matchups too. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to look at Bremen. They've over the time of that tournament, they've kind of owned it. They won a lot of them, but John Glenn is the best defensive team in the state of Indiana in their class. Culver's having a nice year. I mean, you got a lot of girls teams over there that could win that thing.
Yeah, that's I've seen Ryan's team at Glenn, and he does a great job. And you're right, this year sometimes I think he made the comment. We've been struggling shooting. I said, that's funny. Everybody struggles shooting against you guys because you're so good at defense. So, I think that's just, you're trying to keep things interesting. And Alex over at Bremen does a great job. We played them early in the year. They can beat you in so many different ways too. And, all these teams, it's funny. Almost every year you get a Cinderella-esque team, one that kind of flies in under the radar and, surprises some people, or you might have an upset here or there. And so I just really, look forward to the good, hard competition between each school. And we played New Prairie the other night and in girls, and man, they're scrappy and they play hard for the entire game. And they just don't go away. They just do a great job playing hard. And that's really what I enjoy watching, and this tournament tends to bring that out of teams too. So that's pretty cool.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy. I'll let you get back to work, but once again, thanks for taking the time. And if I don't see you before, we'll see you on Tuesday. And looking forward to being there for all the games at LaVille.
Hey, love having you there, Rusty. It's always fun, and look forward to a great week of basketball.
It's Will Haustrauser at LaVille, the athletic director, and we'll be right back. Greg Miller, head basketball coach at Plymouth, joins me in this segment of the Coach's Show. And man, I just want to catch up with you. You're pretty much at the halfway point of the year. And you got really the challenging part of your year coming up right now. I mean, how do you feel about how it's gone? It's been kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean it definitely has been crazy. This last week was a long one with three road games in 1 week, a 2-point loss and a double overtime loss. Where in both games, you know what, we played really well. Free throws did us in. Those two losses combined, we were 18 of 49 from the free throw line. So we make some free throws. That week looks 3-0 and it looks pretty good, but unfortunately we didn't hit them.
Okay, I'm going to ask this. It has nothing to do with you guys, but the games I'm watching, every team that I see struggles shooting free throws. Is it some kind of, do we have a free throw virus that we should be quarantining from now, or what? What's your assessment of that?
You know what? If it is a virus, that makes a lot more sense to me than the amount of reps that we're putting in doing it. And I mean, honestly, this would be a deeper conversation about the development of basketball players in the United States, and coming from college, there is a talk about the model here at the United States level and how kids are being developed versus what's going on in Europe right now. And like I said, I mean, that's a completely different topic, but you know what, we shoot them fairly well in practice. We do a pretty tough free throw drill called 6, 7, 8, and we're able to get that done in practice, and it's all pressure free throw shooting. And so, I hope that we start to see the effects of that, the benefits of that, and tonight would be a good night for it.
I'm sorry, I just have an axe to grind about that because I remember, our coaches demanding we put up 100 shots at lunchtime every day. And there was such an enormous amount of stress put on shooting free throws, and it just doesn't seem like that's the case anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if it's external pressure or internal pressure that these kids are feeling when they get up there. Because, like I said, in practice we would never go 18 to 49. So it's the pressure that maybe they're putting on themselves that they're feeling, externally. But hopefully we get to see that shift in our favor as the year we get to the back half of it.
Let's get back to you guys now that I've ground my axe.
Yeah, you're good.
Your game against Argus, you got to feel pretty good about that. I mean, they were having their way with you really for a while, and you guys came back and took over in that second half.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those games that's difficult because it is the third game of the week. You're playing a smaller school, one that we on paper we probably should beat. We were really mentally and emotionally tired from that double overtime Mishawaka game, and then the guys look at the score, and Argus kind of got smacked by Bethany Christian the night before, and we talked about it as it's not Bethany Christian beating them, it's them. They've already looked ahead to us. We're a big game for them, Plymouth is. And so I was concerned seeing that score because you already know what that means. Like, they weren't thinking about Bethany Christian. They were thinking about Plymouth coming to their place the next night. So to withstand a really, really good punch from them, they got a couple kids back that hadn't played in the first semester that played really well. I mean, the one's averaging 27 a game. So for us to be able to adjust on the fly and then pretty much dominate the fourth quarter was really good to see.
I was going to say, they had two players back, too, that you couldn't have actually prepared for at all, and they're both pretty good players.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they both shoot it well, they move it well. They got size to them. So, I mean, it's a big boost for them as they get into their conference play right here. So, happy for Coach Kindig to get them back, but I'm more happy that we were able to get out of there with a win.
You got to be happy with Caleb Ellery and his development too.
Yeah.
I mean, he is starting to really show you what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very impressive basketball player, and it's like he just keeps getting better every single game right now. I really look forward to, I know this is going to air on Saturday, but the Friday night matchup between him and the Emmert kid, who's a sophomore at Concord, who's averaging 13 a game. Like, they're going to guard each other. Concord will play a little more zone, but it's two young kids in this league who are going to be household names here coming up.
Yeah, and you got some other good young players though too. I mean, you got a few guys like even on your JV, and you've got them with your varsity team that by the way they're playing, they're saying, hey, we wouldn't mind a few minutes as we go down the stretch here either.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys are earning it. And we talked about it early on, our lack of experience, and some of that is just youth. And those, we got some sophomores playing really well, and our freshmen are really getting after it on the JV team. And then even our C team, which is a mix of freshmen and sophomores, like they've won 3 in a row now. So the young guys are really starting to come into their own.
Hudson Davis is a kind of a wild card to me with you guys because over the past couple of games I've seen you at least, he's given you some nice minutes off the bench. I mean, he's not scoring 20 points or anything like that, but he's playing some solid defense and helping you on the boards.
Yeah, I mean, what he does doesn't necessarily always go in the stat sheet, but it affects winning. And that's a name that I think you're going to start calling a little bit more, as the year goes on and we start playing some teams with some more size. Like I said, we'll play them on Friday, but Concord they've got some football guys inside that are big and physical, and Parker Wolf can't guard both of them, and so be ready for a lineup of Parker Wolf and Hudson Davis.
That could be. I don't know. I don't know if I'd like to be guarded by either one of those guys.
I know I wouldn't either.
I mean, Parker goes after it, and there's a guy too that just he knows who he is, he knows what he does, and he just does it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, any coach in the state would love to coach him, and honestly, any sport, which is how he goes about his work.
Well, talk about the conference season. You got 2 games in a row here. Like tonight, as you said, we're going to air this on Saturday, but tonight you've got Concord. That's always a dogfight. Then you got Wawasee and Northridge. I mean, Wawasee's having a very unlike Wawasee year. Northridge is Northridge. I mean, you got 3 really big games in a row.
Yeah, 3 games that get progressively more difficult as you get into those 3 right there, and yeah, Concord's a good team. They're a completely different new coach this year. They've still got really good players. They play more zone than what they have in the past, so we got to be ready for that, tonight. Wawasee's really slowing it down, but Joe Luce getting the job. He got some guys to move in with him, and they're pretty good. They got some kids out of Fort Wayne and the Cowan's kid, and then the Akase kid. They got a couple college basketball players now, and then obviously Northridge, one of the top 10 teams in the entire state of Indiana. So, I mean, it gets progressively more difficult, but I am thankful that all 3 of those games are at home after having 3 on the road last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, conference games at home are much, much better than on the road.
Yes.
But you do have Goshen on the road, and that traditionally, I don't know. And once again, I mean, does this conference have any night where you can actually literally just take a breath? I mean, it doesn't happen.
No, you don't get to exhale. And I played in the Crossroads League, and it was the same thing there. Like you, I mean, it was Wednesday, Saturday for about 3 months, where it was just brutal every night. You knew that in conference play there's 5 games, and 3 of those are going to be 2 possession games. And so it's the same thing in the NLC.
Talk about your team. Let's talk technicalities now, or technically, or physical, or whatever. Let's break down your defense for us. How do you feel about where you're at there?
You know what? I think we were further ahead at the beginning of the year, and then we had some offensive struggles, and so we spent a little more time offensively. On ball, we're fine. It's the cover down is fine. The help outside of the paint, I want to see us be able to help the helper a little bit better. Especially as the game goes on and teams start to adjust. We've missed a couple cover downs and kickouts, and that we know what to do. It's just a matter of getting it done and communicating through it. So we've told our guys, experience is no longer, or lack of experience is no longer an excuse. So would love to see us be really good at that tonight, as we've kind of hit it hard this week.
It's funny you say that, because I've talked to several other coaches this week, both boys and girls, said the same thing. Our offense was better early, but we had defense was better early. We had offensive struggles, and we weren't able to pay as much attention to it. So we got to get back to that too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of what basketball is. Defense always comes through easier. Early in the year, it's easier to teach it. It's easier to learn it and fix things. And offense is a little bit more difficult, and getting in the flow and rhythm and on balance and that stuff. And so I think that's pretty normal. But once again, I'd love to see us be good on both sides of the ball, not just one every night.
Let's talk about offense. How do you feel about where you're at there?
Yeah, I mean, outside of the New Prairie game where we shot 21% from the field on really good shots. I mean, that was obviously a frustrating night. Since then, I think we've really progressed. We're getting really good open looks. We're able to create some looks at the rim, and then we're shooting it well from the perimeter. So would love to see us come out tonight playing at home, hit some jump shots against their zone to kind of loosen them up and then be able to go inside.
Let's talk about down the road now. I mean, if you had to single out maybe 2, 3 things that you really just have to get better at in order to have a good stretch run here, or second half run, we should say, what would those things be?
It's going to be controlling the tempo. We play some really good teams coming up that like to play fast, controlling the tempo, and that's not necessarily just taking 2 minutes off the clock. It's being sound defensively. It's not giving up offensive rebounds. It's great shot selection that doesn't lead to runouts for other teams, and then taking care of the paint defensively because we are a lot smaller. We're a lot smaller than what Wawasee and Northridge and Goshen are going to be, and so being able to help there, being able to front the post when we need to, and eliminate the relentless pursuit of 5 feet. If we can eliminate that from teams, we'll be okay.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. Good luck this week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
It's Plymouth head coach Greg Miller. And Bill Murchie, head girls coach at Culver Academy, joins me here for this segment of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. It's been a while since we talked. I thought I better get you back in to bring us up to date. It looks like you've been doing pretty well. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we're excited. It has been a couple weeks since we've been on here, but it was crazy. I didn't see my girls for about, I think that it came out to about 18 days. So we played December 18th at LaVille. And we did not have practice. We did not have Zoom. Like we didn't even, obviously texting and say hello, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. But I said bye to them on December 18th and did not see them again until the 7th of January. So it was a long break, but it was good for them.
There are benefits and negatives to that. I know you'd agree with me. I mean, the one thing is, they're not getting into the gym like they would be if they were with you. But at the same time, sometimes you just need that decompressing time to just get away for a while.
Oh, no question. And honestly, I tell people all the time because that's the big topic every time I talk to anybody at over this break is, oh my goodness, how do you function with that? And truthfully, I think it actually helps our team. I'm a tough person to be around. You could ask my wife, and I tell you what. I mean, I couldn't imagine having a full season with these girls. They'd all quit. But all jokes aside, it is good just to get away and refresh and regroup and rethink, and it gives us as a coaching staff a lot of time to we watch film the whole time. We're breaking down our future opponents, and just allows us to kind of reemphasize the things that we want to. We always have an intro conversation when we get back, and focus in on 2 to 3 things we want to improve on offensively, 2 to 3 things we want to improve on defensively. And then that allows us to kind of refocus this last third of the season.
It seems like it would be, from your point of view, a good thing because you could go back, you'd break everything down in detail, and then be able to come back with a real clear vision of just exactly what you need to do to get better.
Exactly, and then that's what it is. I mean, it's funny, it's 3:00 in the because we all go different places and travel. I'm in Kansas with my wife's family, and so we're an hour behind. And then I had somebody was over in Europe, and then
Yeah.
we had a family, in Hawaii went over break. So it's funny because your phone's blowing up at random times of the day, random times of the night. With hey, I was just watching the first quarter of the Kokomo game, and this is what so and so did well, and we gotta get back to this. So it's fun times for sure.
And the other thing is it gives you some perspective. I mean, when you're caught in that moment and everything, as a former coach, I'm saying you get caught up in things and you don't see them for what they really are, and being able to step back and see things in reality has got to be helpful.
For sure. I mean, just our big thing, we felt like just for us, last 2 or 3 games before break, like, we just struggled to finish around the rim. Like, we were missing easy, like, I mean, non-contested easy ones. And it's funny, you go back and you watch film, and one thing I always tell our players and our staff, it's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. So we emphasize that, and it's good times. So
Talk about what it was like when they got back. I mean, I have a feeling, given what I've seen from your girls, they were probably really, really glad to be back on the floor.
yeah, I'll tell you what, it was crazy. I actually thought we had some of our best practices of the year. On the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we went 3 times on Wednesday, 2 times on Thursday, 2 times on Friday, and then we practiced in the morning before we played South Bend Riley. So, I think we ended up getting 5, 7, 8 practices in before we played Riley, and it kills their legs. Like, I'll be honest, like, I'll be the first one to admit, like, they are dead tired. Now we feed them, and we get the opportunity and stay together. We eat meals together, and it's truly a mini camp because we're out of
Yeah.
school. So like our girls, this year our girls stayed with the local kids, which was nice. So they got to sleep in beds. But it is they got in about 9 o'clock a.m. In the morning, and they didn't leave till after dinner. So it was a true mini camp, and lets us really, really, really work on some things.
And it looks like you got better each game too. I mean, Riley, obviously they're a solid opponent. You're going to have to struggle with them 4A and everything else, but came back against Twin Lakes, almost 70 points,
Yeah,
but both
yeah,
nights under 30 defensively has
yeah.
got to make you feel good.
Yeah, and truthfully, that first half against Riley, we were down 13-19 at half, so they only scored 10 points in the second half of that game. And I mean, kudos to Riley. Carl does a great job up there, and they're getting better every year. I told him before the game, I watched you guys, our film from last year against you guys, and I watched 3 of your games this year, and I said, Carl, your record doesn't show it, but I think you're better this year than you were a
Yeah.
year ago. And I think they were, 14-7 or something last year. So, kudos to them. They played a great game. I think we went back and watched, and we definitely thought we could play better. But at the end of the day, like we're doing fine. We're happy with where we're at. And then, we were up 24-0 against Twin Lakes in the first quarter. So they had a couple nights off. We went to the Notre Dame, North Carolina game on the 11th as a team. Came back, only had 1 practice on the 12th. So I think that we were a little bit fresher with our legs. We shot it. I mean, we made 0 threes against South Bend Riley. We shot 0 for 12 from 3 against South Bend Riley. We made 12 threes against Twin Lakes. So, it's one of those Jekyll and Hyde types of nights where couldn't get the ball to bounce the right way for us against Riley, but found a way to get a W late, and defended the heck out of them. And then we did get the ball to bounce our way against Twin Lakes. So it was fun to watch that.
Coming out of the break, I mean, just generally speaking, how do you feel about where you're at? Have you recaptured what you had going into the break?
Yeah, I think honestly we're better. At the end of the day, like I said, I think that 2 weeks off, it was actually, I got a calendar in front of me here. It's something crazy. Like it was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 days off.
Wow.
Where the girls weren't in the gym. As a team, a lot of our girls would shoot, go in, lift, run.
Right.
Just because we've got girls that are athletes that they're going to naturally do athletic things anyway. But the other piece of it is that nobody's banged up. Now you got to think about that too, man. If
Yeah.
you're playing games over that break, or if you're practicing every day, I mean, how many rolled ankles, how many
Mm-hmm.
tweaked hamstrings, and they came back fresh. So we feel like going into this next, we got Danville's today, and then we've got then we go Michigan City, Jimtown, Plymouth, and then we finish with Marquette Catholic. So we're healthy. We feel good about that. We feel like we're starting to play the right way, our best basketball, because at the end of the day, it's all about that sectional, and we want to get that. And not looking ahead, but we know we got a tough task in that sectional.
From having seen you guys, talk about some of your players a little bit here too, because it seems to me like you've got pieces that understand their who they are in the course of a game. I mean, you got your post player. I'm thinking, Binkley and Brum underneath, and then you got Lane out there. I mean, you just got people who know who they are, and they're doing what they can do, and it makes you overall really good.
Yeah, for no question. What's really fun about this group is that they do like they're unselfish. They care about each other. They play for each other. And they understand what their role is. And there's so much to be said about a team that that's constantly like trying to find themselves what they want to do offensively, or what they want to do defensively. We call it flavor of the month, but with our girls, I mean, we understand where we're at. We understand what we're trying to do, and then our players understand what their skill set is, what they're the best at, and what they want to stay away from.
You got an interesting stretch run here because Michigan City is always a challenge simply because they're in that Duneland conference. You're going to go up there and get beat up. Jimtown kind of the same thing. They're in the same kind of a conference. Plymouth, Marquette Catholic is always solid. I mean, you got a really interesting and tough stretch run here. I gotta think.
Yeah, I mean Danville will start there. I mean Danville, they've got it's not necessarily Indianapolis, but we
Right.
tried
Yeah.
to put one team on this year. We're going to put another one on next year. We felt like that game started for us. That's a big game. That's it's a high level team. It's a team that's won multiple sectionals in the last year. I mean, 2020 they had a girl that went on to be the NAIA Player of the Year 2 years in a row, Nellie Collier, who's now their head coach. So nothing but respect for that program and what they do. And tell you what, we got our hands full with them. And then you're right. I mean, Michigan City, they're going to be athletic. They're going to play fast. They're going to get up and down. Jimtown's improving. I mean, I think Jimtown's better this year than they were a year ago. So yeah, I mean those two games, and then obviously anything happens in Plymouth. That's the backyard brawl, right? So excited to get up there. We're at their place this year. Excited to get up there and play our best basketball. And then Marquette Catholic's number one in the state in 1A right now. So they got the Lanaya Davis girl, the Addie Penziol, and then they got Marissa Pleasant. That's their headliners, and some really good players behind that. But I'll tell you what, like they are absolutely the favorites to win the 1A state championship. So yeah, I mean we got 5 left in the regular season. We're hoping to stay healthy, figure it out, keep defending at a high level and try to come up with some W's.
As you come down the stretch, I mean, you mentioned a couple of things there, but I mean, what is it that you really feel you got to do well if you want to have the run here at the end you want?
Got to get to 70. Got to get to 70.
Yeah.
You made a joke about it. You said, God, 69. Our girls break it out on 70. You know what I'm saying? Like in our mind, we just, historically, we've if you look at the last, I mean, we're giving up 33.9 points per game this year as a program, which is it's top 25 in the state. We're 5th in 3A if you go and look at the statistics online. Last year we gave up 38.8. The year before that we gave up 36.7, and then my first 2 years we gave up 37.8 and 36.9 respectively. So, with us, we always know that we are going to be solid defensively. We're going to guard you. We've done a much better job of not fouling this year, and putting teams on the line to give them easy ones. But for us, it's all about like get to 70. Like we need to go out and we got to score the basketball because I'll tell you what, Ariana Rowell at St. Joe. I mean, they scored 90. You know what I'm saying? She's scoring per game what we give up. She's like at 28.9. And then obviously John Glenn, they're having one heck of a season. Nothing but positive things about to say about Ryan and what he's doing. I mean, they want to dog it out. They want to play 40 to 27. So I'm looking at them right now. The 40.6 OA, 27.2 DA.
Yep.
Like they want to play defensively like we do. Except for they're gonna play a zone. And really try to pack it in and make you shoot it over them. But at the end of the day, like it's going to be exciting. That sectional is going to be fun. Plymouth is always messy when they get to the sectional times, so nothing but respect for Miss Shalio and what she does. And then, I mean, honestly, Mishawaka Marion's much improved. They're sitting at 10-8 on the year.
Yeah.
We played them really well at our place, but you never know. It's hard to beat a team twice. So that sectional is going to be a dogfight, and we're just hoping we get a good draw and play the right way.
Well, man, good luck to you today, and then on down the line. I know we have you against Plymouth. I'm pretty sure we're going to beat your sectional again, so we're going to run into each other at least once or twice more.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it, and thank you for your time.
Not a problem. Bill Murchie, the head coach at Culver Academy. And AJ Neese, head coach of the Culver Lady Cavs, joins me. It's been a little bit since I've seen you guys, but man, you've just got to be real happy with the way your season is going, man. You're having a good year.
Yeah, we're pretty happy right now. There's a couple there at the beginning of the year that we thought we let slip away, like a Westville, and even that Judson game we thought we'd let slip away when we go. I think Ava ended up with 17, but she went like 4 of 19 from the free throw line, and we lose by 7.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, like, oh man, whatever way the ball falls.
I've seen Judson play, though. I mean, they can do some things. Defensively, that pressure gives people a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why they're probably either the best or the second best team in our sectional right now, behind ECA or right in front of ECA.
I'm going to say Elkhart Christian isn't bad either, and they're on your schedule. So you've been tested a little bit as you've gone through this too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think even going into next week in the Bi-County, we're going to get tested too. We open up with Glenn, and then maybe an OD or an Argus, and then hopefully we'll be playing on that Saturday night, playing a really, really good Bremen team.
Yeah, I was going to say that opening game for you guys in the Bi-County, that's a tough one. I mean, it ought to be an interesting game if either one of you can score. Bottom line,
Yeah.
I mean, that both of you hang your hat on just being lockdown defenses.
Yeah, for sure, and that's what me and my coaching staff talked about it. That game might end up 19-20 for all we know. It might be a race to 20-25 and see who gets there first.
I'm going to say it'd be interesting. It'd be like one of those old time games where you used to have the center jump after every basket or whatever it was they used to do, and they'd have those 9 to 8 games. But talk about your defense a little bit. I talked earlier with Ryan over at Glenn, and talking about buy-in of your girls, and how do you get them to buy into the idea of we're going to sell out and we're going to play defense?
With our girls, it's hard because if you've ever watched any of my soccer games, we're pretty good on the defensive end there too.
Yeah.
And it just seems like I talk to the Brooke Davis, the Elianas, the Avas, the girls that play both for me, and they just love playing defense. They know that playing hard-nosed defense is going to make offense really, really easy when you can score off your defense. And they take their rest, on the offensive end like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to play hard-nosed, get after it on defense, and then, okay, we'll walk the ball up the floor. We'll get our rest here. Sometimes I got called timeout just to get a rest because I only have probably 6 girls I rotate.
Right. Does that bother you at all, your depth? I mean, especially going into the tournament, that usually becomes a sticking point for some teams.
Yeah, somewhat, but the bright side of it, it's a kind of double-edged sword. They've played like that all year, so they're kind of used to it. If they get in foul trouble, they know how to play with foul trouble. They know how to protect themselves from getting fouled out or anything like that. And it seems like it's different if it happens towards the end of the year. You start losing players to injuries or something like that. But these girls have played with it all year, and they're kind of used to it by now. And it gets you in the best shape possible, buddy.
Yeah, it does. And I'm thinking, it also teaches you to play through some adversity because you know you're going to have to be there.
Yep. And you're going to have to play through that adversity, with foul trouble or shots not going your way. I've had it in the past where girls aren't hitting shots and they go, coach, just take me out. Just take me out.
Yeah.
Well, now I can't. So you got to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking the other aspect of that, you got a lot of young girls. And honestly, when you were a player, did you ever want to come out of the game?
No, definitely not. I was mad when I got taken out.
So I'm sure that helps out. Last time I saw you guys play, I think it was over at Knox. They did a nice job on Ava, but you had a lot of girls step up. She wasn't scoring a lot, but you had a lot of people step up and take over that responsibility.
Yeah, especially not having Ashlyn there, being on vacation.
Right.
For that Knox game, it seemed like Ava was kind of in her head a little bit, not having her sidekick up top and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of threw her off a little bit. But thankfully, Brooke Davis, Bree Schindler, and Eliana stepped up and had big scoring nights for us in those games.
And Bree is that kind of a player that, well, let's put it this way: whenever she gets the ball, you're definitely probably supposed to hear the word "shooter" getting yelled from the other bench. I mean, she could go off and hit a bunch, and she did that night.
Oh yeah, she's one of those girls. When she's on, she is on, and you might see her put up 18, 19 threes in a game.
Yeah,
and I tease her all the time. Like I wish back when I played, I could get that many shots off. You better be thanking your teammates for getting you open and getting you the ball to be able to shoot that many times. I don't know if I ever shot 18 shots in a game.
Yeah,
let alone 18 threes.
Yeah. Well, Brooke does a nice job too underneath. I mean, she's a nice piece, and I think she had a really good scoring night that night too.
Yeah, and then both of them turned around after our long break over Christmas break. We ended up beating Caston last week by I think 17, and Brooke and Bree both had 15 in that game. I think Eliana had 9, Ava had 7, Ash had 8. Kind of a little bit of everybody, and that's what it's been all year. It just depends on which two are on the top side of that. Sometimes it's Ava and Ash having 15 or 16. Sometimes it's Bree and Elle. Sometimes it's Brooke. And I think with those 5 or 6 girls that we have on any given night, anybody could step up in a different way.
Talk about a little bit too the up and down of the way the weather. Bottom line, what I'm trying to ask you is, you missed a game this week earlier because of the weather, and how does that affect you? I mean, it takes you out of your routine. You prepared for that, and now you're dead in the water. I mean, how do you approach that when you lose a game like that?
Especially this time of year, it's tough because you're running into not being able to make it up.
Right.
Because we only got 2 weeks left of our season before the sectional, so we're trying to jam another game in somewhere when we got Bi-County next week, and then we had to make up a game from earlier in the year with North Miami that's now slid in at the end of our schedule. So it's kind of hard, and it kind of throws a wrench into everything. But the girls, it seemed like, weren't too mad about it because they didn't have school the next day after the game.
Yeah.
They got to sleep in a little bit, and we got to come in and practice yesterday afternoon. But as a coach, it kind of stinks because now, that was another chance to get another win, add another win, take that next step, and prepare yourself for that Bi-County next week, because we were going to play on a Wednesday and then tonight on Friday, so it's kind of a sectional prep week we were kind of preparing ourselves for. But it's always nice to have a little bit of a break, hang out with the kids at home. But, we still do what we do. We still got in and got after it yesterday and prepared for Triton for tonight. And then we'll come in tomorrow after and we'll break down the Triton film and prepare for Glenn.
I gotta believe that's going to be tough too. If they try to slide that in, you end up playing so many games. You know that's just as tough as losing a game to weather. I mean, having to play 2 or 3 games in a week that's tough.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that only makes you stronger, especially, you know, if they do slide it in at that last week, that would put us in back-to-back weeks where hopefully we're playing 3 games in a week, and that's definitely preparing us for that sectional week of a
Yeah.
Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, kind of thing. And I'm not mad about it, but the girls might be. I
Well,
always like playing instead of practicing.
I was going to say the other part of that is, I'm not. You don't have to come to practice. I at this point of the year, I'm sure they'd all much rather play a game than come to practice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially Coach Neese's practice. They don't like those too well.
Talk about your opponent tonight. I mean, when you look at Triton, what do you see?
They're coached well. Ashley does a great job over there. The wins and losses might not be where she wants them to be, but they play hard. They and looking at their schedule, like they've beaten some pretty good teams.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, they've lost to some teams they probably shouldn't have lost to as well. They beat a North Miami team, they beat a Plymouth, and just stuff like that. So that's the crazy thing about basketball this year. Any given night, anybody can beat anybody, and we just have to be ready to go. Got to know where their shooters are, and we got to be able to run the floor and be nasty in our defense.
Talk about your girls. I mean, you already mentioned some of it. I mean, but what do you got to do to get a win tonight?
We got to be able to hit shots. We got to rebound, and we got to fly the floor. We got to get Ava back on track. The last couple of games, I think she's only averaging like 5 or 6 points a game. Teams are really taking her out of it. And if you've watched this, a lot of her offense comes in the full court. We get up and press. She gets steals, layups, or at the top of our zone, she gets steals, layups. And she's the one that gets us going. Her and Ashlyn. And then Brooke and Elle and Bree Schemler, kind of hold us down, keep our feet on the ground, because Ava and Ash just want to get out, get nasty, run the floor as fast as they can, and then those three kind of keep our feet on the ground, hold us back, and hey, let's take care of this and let's do it the right way.
Right.
But yeah, in order for us to get a win, we got to be able to hit shots, because I guarantee Triton's gonna throw a little bit of everything at us, zone wise, man to man, a little bit of press. So we just got to take care of the ball, hit shots, and be able to run the floor.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time. As always, good luck to you tonight, and I guess we'll see you in a few hours.
All right, Rusty, I appreciate you, man.
That is AJ Neese, head coach at Culver. We'll be right back. And Ryan Reese, the head coach of the John Glenn Lady Falcons, joins me here in this segment of the Coaches Show. And, man, I wanted to catch up with you before Bi-County week, because you guys are having a heck of a season. I mean, you've just been on a roll.
Yeah, no, the girls are playing well right now, so we're excited. Girls are excited, just the opportunities they get.
Okay, under 30 points a game, 27.2 points a game on defense. That is, I don't know. I don't know how you even do that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's buy-in. It is buy-in. Myself and Coach Bogard, my assistant, are in charge of making sure we got plans, so we know what's going on in terms of scouting reports and things like that. But the girls really take time to look through those things and understand. After watching, they watch film quite periodically. Like just understanding who we need to take away to give us the best chance. I mean, we don't score a ton of points, so if we don't, we better be able to hold some teams.
Well, it looks like you've held at least 4 teams under 20 and pretty close to 10. I mean, how do you get girls to buy into that?
Honestly, I think it's just IQ. I've been fortunate enough to have this junior class since they were in 3rd grade. So these kids understand and been around the game. I think that helps. If you're a kid who just plays every once in a while growing up, and then you get to high school, you can catch up, but So the kids have an advantage that have been playing it for a little bit longer. I have a ton of kids who are on National Honor Society, and my juniors and seniors are all on National Honor Society, which, that's a good indicator too of not only kids that work hard in the classroom, but they have the IQ to be able to relate things that go on in the game too, and be able to make adjustments easily.
And you add the fact that your schedule is not easy. I mean, being able to hold really good teams like that. I mean, because you know as well as I do, other coaches are smart too. Other coaches have game plans too. They have good players too, and
Absolutely.
being able to I don't know, out chess match them or whatever it is. I mean, they got to take some pride in that too.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. That our big thing has always been defense. So, like you said, we play some pretty good teams. I mean, we have Michigan City Marquette tonight, who's number one right now, and our goal, I mean, is just to defensively be able to have a presence. So, like I would agree. I mean, there's a lot of great coaches on our schedule. But yeah, I mean, kids buying in and understanding what needs to get accomplished is huge.
Let's talk about your offense here for a little bit too. I mean, you mentioned earlier you don't score a lot of points, but how do you feel about where your offense is at? Is it where you're getting to where you'd like it to be?
Yeah, we've been consistent, right? We've had 3 consistent scorers throughout the year with Herford, Weddington, and Reese. But I think Ari Stanley starting to score a little bit more the last few games is going to be big for us. Rory Winchell being able to hit some shots in opportune times. So we're moving in the right direction. Would I like to see us, averaging closer to 45 to 50 a game? Absolutely. But it is what it is for right now. We're just hoping that in opportune times, girls can hit shots when we need them to step up.
Mia is the kind of player I have a feeling. I mean, obviously she's going to be number one on the scouting report, but I gotta believe she gets a lot of attention from other teams from their defense.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, and we try to prepare for stuff like that too, which is why it's essential that our shooters can shoot a little bit because we know that they're going to try to take things away from Mia, and that will open up the outside game. And then we talk to our shooters about making sure that if you can shoot the ball and you're ready to shoot, you're squared up, ready to knock down shots and have the confidence, that will open things up for Mia also on the inside. So it's hard to guard in and out. Most teams try to take at least one away, and it'll give you something on the other end. So yeah, I mean, we talked about it has to be a joint effort with the inside outside game. But you're right. I mean, I would think Mia is one of the first things that they would take away. She's a great player.
You got some other really good players though too. I mean, Ariana looks like she's like your enforcer. The times I've seen you play, does a really great job in there. Weddington is a good player. I mean, you've got some other options. Callie can shoot the ball. I mean, you've got some other people that can play too.
Right. I mean, honestly, an unsung hero in this whole thing is Ari Stanley. I think you hit the nail on the head. Not a lot of people talk about kids who do the dirty work, right? It's most about the scoring. We look at the points per game. If Ari Stanley's not in the game, we struggle just because she commands boards. She is a kid who has a high IQ around the boards, understands angles, and has a nice vertical and is strong, like does not mind banging around inside. I mean, that's why she's around 10 a game, 9 or 10 a game. So, she is somebody who, you're right, when you said enforcer, like she's not afraid to bang around inside, dive, take a charge last game. So, yeah, she's willing to do it all.
Looks like she's the kind doesn't care what she has to do either. I mean, whatever we got to do to win.
100%. Yeah, she is one of the most selfless players that we have. Like she just wants to win games, and we'll do whatever it takes to win those games.
Assess your season so far. I mean, you knew you had a special bunch. You had to. But 15-3 is kind of gaudy. I mean, did you think you would be at a 15 wins already in your season?
Yeah, no. I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, I did not. I had faith in these girls that they were going to compete every game. I think we started off our year on a bright note. I mean, when you're playing, we call them, 50-50 games with Fairfield. You got Fairfield, you got Concord, Westville. You just never know what they're going to bring. You got St. Joe and Bremen. Like that's the beginning. Tippy Valley. Those are solid teams. So when you play those teams, you're hoping to get half, right? Or 3/4 of them would be great. But we excelled, and the girls were able to pick up a few more of those 50-50 games to start the season. I think that helped us catapult into the second part of the season here a little bit. So I do, yeah. I mean, surprised. I don't know if I'm surprised with where we're at, but we are well ahead of where the schedule we thought we would be.
Let's talk about, development wise as your team. I mean, are you ahead of the curve, behind the curve? Are you where talent wise you thought you would be at this point?
Yeah, no, I actually think we're a little bit ahead. We've been able to work in some of our younger girls into the lineup here and there. And that's been the key, right, to build any program. You don't want the in-between years, right? So going from 17-9 last year, wanting to make sure that we had consistency this year, which is going to lead into next year and be able to put our program back where it was at one point in time, just with the consistency of year in and year out. So we've been trying to get those younger girls in the game a little bit more. You got Carson Bogart, who's got in 9 games this year, and Lizzie Wright, who's a freshman. We just pulled up another freshman, Olivia Egger, to get some time out there and get comfortable with it. Graduated a couple girls, their spots can be open. So we want to give them the best chance to be successful. And I think giving them opportunities in these games is going to help build a little bit of confidence.
Well, the other part of that, too, is you got the tournament coming up and depth becomes an issue. More people you can have with minutes, I imagine, makes you feel more comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the more you gain that IQ, we talk about that game IQ, and just being comfortable on the floor, right? The speed of the game. Some of these freshmen coming in from 8th grade, it's a different speed. They're a talented group, but they didn't quite understand the speed at the varsity level, even compared to the JV level. So that's been an eye opener. And you're right. Like, I think that helps you to build players, which then builds teams.
Talk about your stretch run here. I mean, you've got some tough games. Obviously, tonight you've got number one team, and the coaches I've talked to say they are just really they're a juggernaut to face them. And then you got some other tough games coming up down the stretch here. Not to mention the Bi-County next week. I mean, this is a tough string for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's kind of what you want, right? Going into sectional time, you want to be successful, but you also want to make sure you're playing caliber teams that are going to help you go as far as you can in the tournament. So Marquette's one of those games tonight that's going to be big for us defensively. To see where we're at against one of the top teams offensively, they're a great squad all the way through. I mean, so it's going to be a challenge for us, and the girls know that. And we talked about just being up for the challenge, and this is a great opportunity to put your name on the map here a little bit. We talk about earning it, right? That's kind of what our motto is. And if you want to earn respect in the area, you gotta play good teams, and you got to compete against good teams.
I was going to say, your last few teams here, I think the least number of wins is 12 amongst all 3 of them there, and that's a tough stretch going into the tournament. Does that concern you at all? I mean, usually you like to be hot going in. You might get tripped up here a night or two. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you learn from that adversity, right? Like, so as long as you don't dwell on it, understanding tonight's going to be a tough game, and take that, be real with it, like where they're at and where we're at, and take you into Tuesday, where Culver's a great team for that Bi-County game. They got a great record. Coach Neese has done a nice job with those girls. They had a really solid JV last year, and those girls moving up. So, we're hoping that we can compete a little bit with them also. And yeah, Couts is a solid program this year. He had younger girls last year, and they've got a year experience. So yeah, no, you're right. But I think you just take one game at a time and hope that it best prepares you for that first game of sectional.
Well, I was going to say your sectional is not exactly a cakewalk in any way either. I mean, that's a grinder too. If you want to have a chance, you got to get used to playing that, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a little quicker pace, a little different style of ball that we play, but we try to force our will on them a little bit defensively and take them out of their game. So, but you're right, it's really difficult to do with the high-powered offenses that are in that sectional.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it, and pretty sure we'll see you next week at some point during Bi-County.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate it.
It's Ryan Reese, the head coach at John Glenn, and stay right there.